Layton, going
Oh,
north,
yeah,
like north.
Layton. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're about to get a deal in Layton today, so that's
Well,
cool.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, we're live. Just to let everyone know. So this just streams to our platform, so people can join in, ask questions. So I actually the deal in Layton. The reason why I'm on this call usually is just Scott in the morning and then Sean in the afternoon. I'm on this call because I have a deal I need help structuring. I think I know how to do it, but even me being in real estate for 4 years, it's good to ask questions, get opinions. So this is a seller finance deal. So I'll bring it up, but first let's kind of look at your guys' deals, and then I will live on the call fill out the paperwork on a seller finance deal so you guys can see exactly how to fill it, how to like write that kind of stuff up. And then later today, I'm gonna try with the seller. I'm gonna do a live call with him and walk him through the agreement, so you guys can not only learn how to fill out paperwork, but how to walk someone through it. Okay.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
great.
Yeah, so Scott, before I get into my deal, let's John, let's take a look at your deal.
Yeah, so it's from what I understand, it's two buildings side by side. They're both two-story townhomes side by side.
Okay.
But one of the buildings is actually two properties, even though they're combined. So it's actually four different addresses. It's four different addresses in two buildings that are side by side. So 4 units.
Okay, right. So it's right, bunch of units, right?
Yeah. 4 units, that are two buildings side by side. And they're occupied with tenants. It's on a somewhat main street. In fact, it's called Main Street. But she says, this couple is like in their 70s. They're here in Los Angeles. They're kind of slowing down, retiring. They want to get rid of this property. They tried listing it a year or two ago. It sat on the market for like 7-8 months, and then they took it off. She's asking for $650 total for both both properties. I'm seeing that she listed one of the properties, and the one that canceled, for like around $150 or something like that. So I'm thinking if she's thinking 4 times 150, 3, that's like 6, and she's probably throwing in an extra 50 on top of that. That's how she's probably coming up with her number.
Yeah, let me also add to that. This is a 2-unit. It's a combination of a commercial and residential. It's zoned for that. It's got 12 parking spaces. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment on the second level. It's just kind of like it's really random. It's got a basement that they're using.
Can I just jump in here for a second, just
for sure,
for the sake of making an offer? Everything we're talking about here really doesn't help in making an offer, right? I want to understand what type of motivation is there from the seller. What type of time frame is the seller working with, right? Is there any pain? Okay. Is this a price at retail, above retail? Do they want 50 cents on the dollar? Do we need to move quickly here? Those are the types of things that are going to help us make an offer. Whether it's got 12 units or 22 units, that really won't matter in constructing the offer. Sure, it's going to affect the numbers and the NOI, things like that, right? Yeah. But in order to really just have this conversation and help you guys craft an offer, I don't really care how many beds and bathrooms there are, right? I care more importantly when they were renovated, okay? Or when they weren't renovated, right? Because now that gap in between what 2022 HGTV looks like for us to get that ARV is how many dollars away, right? And then you'll multiply that by how many bathrooms or kitchens there are, things like that, right? But for the sake of this, let's jump here, okay? Where is the seller from?
The seller lives here. They originally are from Pennsylvania. They live here in
Okay,
Los
good.
Angeles now. So the pain is really she doesn't want to continue remotely and going back and forth managing the property, even though she's got a team over there.
Okay, so can we touch on that for a second? Going back and forth. Were they previously more active when they lived in the area?
Yeah, they're 72. They're aging. They don't have the energy to
So tired landlord and out of state.
right. And
Now the management company that's in place, is there a conflict with that management company?
No, it's just the
Okay.
hired guy or two that they've hired. They have 25 other properties. So also to let you know, this
Okay.
woman is sharp. She's a realtor. She's got 25 other properties. She likes to let go apparently of 2% or 2 properties a year. You know, they're trying to like retire. And also she
It's
renovated.
a long way to retirement, 2 properties a year.
Yeah, she's starting. Who knows? She's saying this to me, and
All right. Well, what does she need you for? If she's a broker, right? Why isn't she put this property on the market? I think you mentioned once it failed already once a while back. Is that because of where it was priced? What too much rehab in a undervalued market? You know, that they'd be underwater. What, you know, why it failed maybe?
Well, you know, sometimes people say they're a realtor, but how are they really a realtor? They have a license. They hold a license, right? Because
Yeah,
I
you can
feel like
see who was the closing broker on the transaction. So if you go look at linked properties, let's say on PropStream, or even if you use Privy, I'm not sure if you use Privy, but Privy will show you previous transactions, right? Transaction history.
yeah.
And you'll actually be able to see who the agent was on those transactions. So
I guess
if
my
she
point
was,
was, yeah, I guess my point is not so much as that. She's probably not an active realtor because in the stories that she's told me that she seems to have failed to pick really good buyers. She's scammed in others. So she's not seasoned.
A former realtor. She's a former realtor. She's not
former realtor. Okay, it's not even active. Okay. So she didn't even list the property herself. She had someone else list it. Okay. And again, do we know why it failed? Again, do you think it was price point, or is it a hot market that we're talking about here?
Not really sure. I know that she's working another one, and the other guy is sort of like a crook that she picked. She tends to just pick and not qualify her buyers, which tells me that she's not a seasoned broker. The guy was like suing her for title. They're going through a lawsuit right now because
On which property?
another property in Los Angeles that she's trying to sell to me.
Have you done a quick title search on that to make sure it can sell, or maybe there's a lien on it, or a memorandum
Well,
filed on the property?
She's not able to sell it to me yet because she's working on the lien. Yeah, it's got mechanics lien and all kinds of lien against it.
The ones we're talking about here, those are clear, eligible to be sold as far as we know, I guess.
Yeah. She renovated it in 2018. Put in 80,000, upgraded the kitchen and bathroom.
Okay. That sounds like a nice place. I'm surprised she wants to sell and she already has a managing company in there. What type of price point are they talking about? Is it comparable to retail?
See, that's the thing. I can't tell in Pennsylvania.
From what I can tell, I would say yes. It's at retail. That's what I would say. Just because.
Yeah, we can run the comps real quick. We can just look at it.
Sure.
Well, we got to look at cash flow on this one, right? This is a multi, or these are all single families. They're multi units. I know it's multiple properties.
Yeah,
the multi-units. The rent's $5,250, and I think it's going up to a couple hundred because she's getting new tenants in there. That's a monthly.
Do you
rent.
do either of you
Between
know?
how many units?
Oh, go ahead.
1, 2, 3.
4 units. Right?
How many
4
doors?
units.
I guess 4 doors. So
There's
4
4.
doors, 5,250, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And I'm sorry. Did you say that someone was leaving and new tenants are coming in?
Yeah, but currently it's $5,250, and I think it's going to go up a couple hundred more.
Is that already in motion that new tenants are coming in, or
Yeah.
can the property be
Like,
delivered vacant?
No, it won't be vacant. It will be occupied. It's a minimum of 5250. I'm not sure how much she's raising the rent, but she's raising the rent.
So it's safe to say to go with 5250. She's claiming she believes it'll be a little higher once the new tenant comes in. But
why would I want someone to put a new tenant in there if I have an opportunity to have a vacant unit, come in there and do my updates now, maybe get more money than what I could get as is? Why would I want somebody else to contract with the tenant if they're selling the property? I'm a little concerned here, right? They did all this work in 2018, right? It's just a couple of years ago. Maybe they had a financial hit over the last couple of years, people not paying rent. I don't know. But if someone's month to month right now, I would leave it at that. If their lease was ending, I would leave it at that and give the buyer an option to either buy it with a tenant or without a tenant. But to say, hey, this tenant's going to be in there for 18 months, 12 months, 24 months, whatever it is, I might not be so attractive to a buyer. Maybe I have different intentions, with the property, right? So that's all I'm saying. Just try to leave that room. If it's not written in stone and this person's not coming in on Monday, whoa. Maybe we want it vacant. It's more attractive to us. That's all I'm saying.
Well taken, understood, and I totally understand that. Thinking it's already signed, everything's done. I just didn't get the detail.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. Most buyers that you wholesale a deal like this to they don't want to take over leases. They want
not a long one. They want to be flexible or a couple months left, something like that.
Yeah, they don't want like someone to get locked in and then they have to take on, unless it's cash flowing. But the way that these people are doing it, they probably want a price where it's not really the best investment.
Is there a contract with the management company that's going to transfer with the property? And if we don't know, we need to ask, right?
Okay, I'll ask also.
Just like leases transfer, all contracts, potentially transfer. So we would need to see that with this management company, right? Because we may have our own management company. We're boots on ground, and we don't want to pay outside fees to another vendor on the top line.
Good point. I will ask
things to ask. That's all. If we don't know.
Yeah, and don't think we're grilling you. These are just questions that
these are quite. You got to grill this seller, right? Grill this 72-year-old seller that just dumped a bunch of cash into a property and now wants to sell it. I mean, the point of that was they're retiring and they get mailbox checks and they have a management company over there. So I don't see the pain. This sounds to me maybe more of gain. I mean, it's nice that she wants to unwind a couple properties a year, but I mean, unless we're getting good terms on the property, what are we doing here at retail? So I wanted to ask you, before we make an offer, what do you think your intentions would be with this property? Is this something that you wanted to hold? Is this something that you wanted to sign? Is this something that you were looking to JV on? What is your intentions? Once you got that contract, what are you planning to do with it? Is this an Airbnb? Right? What is this property? Is it a halfway house? What would you convert it to? What needs to be done? What would your intentions be, I guess, to put cash into your pocket once you have that contract?
Yeah. Right. Great question. Great question. Well, what she added to me, I don't know if you heard the recording and the conversation, John, is that this is in a multi-residential commercial property, right? So it is between two banks, hospitals, and she's thinking she was going to put like 4 tiny homes for the nurses, because it does have it's a good location according to her.
Well, it has.
He was going to put 4 tiny homes there in addition to what's already there.
Yeah. So the lot must be big. I don't know what this size is.
What are your intentions? No, I'm asking, what are your intentions? Not the seller. How do you guys want to monetize this for yourselves? What can you guys do if you get this contract?
My intention is to partner with you guys to just wholesale it. I mean, to sign it.
So we need a wholesale price.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to work off that. Now, if this seller's adamant about retail and doesn't need us because I got 25 cash flowing properties and I don't need to sell it for wholesale, well, Real Estate Nate is going to have a difficult time selling this to buyers that buy all day long from him.
Right. Because if she's not going to sell it for a wholesale price, then she's got to find a realtor and deal with that from out here. Long distance.
No, her management company is possibly a broker. We don't know how deep that is. I mean, I would expect the management company works with brokers all day. if they don't have them on their team. So I mean, look, I sell properties all the time with the flat fee for $200 online. So it's not as hard as it was 10 years ago that, you know, maybe they still think it is, but, you know, ask them, right? How come you just don't hire a flat fee broker? Get a couple pictures from your management company and list it, right? You got to give her some pull away here, maybe, right? It's look, I'd love to get a good deal on a property, but I haven't heard of an opportunity here yet, right? She wants retail. The property's top notch, right? It's all updated. There's nothing to do with it, right? You said everything's done since 18, so, you know, within the last 4 years. Have you had pictures of it?
She's sending it to me. I just talked to her.
And she said there's pictures online from when she listed it before. I do see some pictures online from a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks updated.
Yeah, so when we deal with sellers like this, like you know, they have to have some sort of pain or motivation, or you know, there's no way you can get a deal unless, you know, they're willing to sell and they're just, you know, willing to take less, right? But she seems like, so this is where I would hit her. I'd say, hey, look, you know, you listed this thing, it was on the market for eight months. It's not going to sell for what you're wanting because it's an interesting piece of property. Where we can take over is we can offer you this cash offer, you know, or we can take over in terms, and then you got to make sure your terms help you cash flow.
What I was hoping to get from you guys is kind of a ballpark of where you think we need to be, you know.
Exactly. That's what we're looking for.
We have a hard time. We have a hard time.
What are they asking?
650.
650 for all properties. Yeah.
Oh, so 650, and it brings in how much?
$5,250 a month.
Okay, so we just do the math real quick. So let's see.
Yeah, our thing is we just didn't know what to price this at.
I mean, I think that's. I mean, I don't know. What part of Pennsylvania is this in?
Waynesboro.
Waynesboro.
I don't know Pennsylvania that well. Let me look at Waynesboro. That seems high. That seems very high for 4 units, because in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is way nicer, you know, obviously it's more expensive, but that's getting kind of close to like what multi units are here, you know.
Yeah, I think she's just throwing that number out with you know, and keeping her fingers crossed that we're gonna buy.
What did you say, Waynesboro?
Yeah.
PA. All right, I'm just looking at it. I can't share my screen because I'm doing this on StreamYard, but I'm just looking at the location of this area. Waynesboro. So that's like not really in an area that's that popular or that populated, from what I'm seeing, like compared to like a major metro like Pittsburgh or, let's see, am I looking at the right one? Pennsylvania, Waynesboro?
Yeah.
Okay.
WAYNESBORO.
Okay, I got it.
17268 is the zip code.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a 9% return. If she's getting 550 and she's at 650, that's not. I mean, people will do that. I don't know what in specifically in Waynesboro, like, you know, we're kind of speculating, right? We don't know if investors in that area are looking for 12%, 20%. What I would do is I'd post in a Facebook group in Pennsylvania and Waynesboro and be like, hey, what kind of return are people looking to get in Waynesboro on multi units? And I'd ask, or I'd call an agent and ask those questions, because, you know, in Salt Lake City, like, you're not getting an 8% return. You're getting like a 4 or a 5 or less. So this is a 9. So if you I mean, I'd take that any day in Salt Lake City, but this is probably different. Investors here probably want more. How
did you do that quick calculation? I know the cash flow was pretty decent. That's why I brought it to you guys.
So what I did is 5,000. What would you say? 5,000. What was it a month?
5,250.
5,250 times 12. So that's what they're making. They're making 63,000 in rent or in the year, and then you divide it by the purchase price of 650. So that would be 9.6.
Got it.
But that's not like exactly accurate. That's just like a ballpark of it, because then you have
Okay.
like expenses and maintenance and all that stuff. But just a quick glance, it makes sense. But people, like, I had a deal once in, I think it was some part of Virginia that was like a 22% return. It was like good, but people in the area were like, nah, we only take like 30, like, because the risk is
Right.
higher or the properties are worse. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Scott, what do you think? Like, would you ask for a little expertise on like what buyers are buying in that area, if that's a good return or people want more?
I mean, we need more recon on this property. I think we spent enough hypothetical time on this property.
Okay.
You can call a local broker in the area, and if you don't, if you don't have one already in the area, and maybe get a little more familiar. It doesn't sound to me like this is somewhere that you prospect often, and this is kind of a one-off situation. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
So let's contact a local broker, or try to squat up with someone that is boots on the ground and maybe more familiar with that you can leverage if needed. But from everything that you're telling me here, this sounds like a retail deal that should be back on the market. So unless you can get a good price from the seller, maybe you go back to the seller before you even take those next steps and trying to bring some more knowledge into the situation, just to really see if it's even an option. Because again, if she's not willing to budge, then just move on, right?
I think
Well, yeah, I
think
think
that's
the
a
whole
great
thing
idea.
is, okay, I know we've talked too much about this. The
Yeah,
reason
let's
why
open
I
this up
came
for
in-
somebody else, maybe. I
Yeah.
think we have a few other people sitting there, and I hope this
This is great.
works out well, and maybe
Yeah.
get back to us with some feedback. And I'm really hopeful that we can create an actual offer for the seller. But there's a lot more recon that I think we need to do before we get there.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
I understand. Again, thank you for doing this. I mean, the whole thing, I was blindsided by this Zoom call, is that I really wanted to just confirm the pricing so I know what to negotiate with the seller.
I
have
would
no
be
idea.
lying if I gave you pricing right now. You don't have enough information
Right.
to work the formula.
So talk to a broker to see how much it would be worth.
No, I would talk to the seller first. Seller, do you want retail for this property? No, I want more than retail for this property. Seller, if I came back to you with a cash offer tomorrow and took care of all the closing costs on this property, could you do a little better? No, I want retail on this property. Seller, there's no broker fees. There's no more depreciation. There's no more management company. There's no more headaches. I take over. Can you give me a better price? No, I want retail. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We need to do that. Honestly, I think we've spent more time talking hypotheticals about this seller than we have with the seller. So let's contact the seller, and I'd love to hear about how this went tomorrow morning. Hopefully, everyone can be back here and give us some feedback to all these questions that we asked about this.
So you're
property.
here 5 days a week on this call?
I'm here 7 days a week. I'll give you my number.
7 days.
But yeah, we do these calls 5 days a week. Nathan's got some others throughout the day. We've got a review later today. I think that's 1:00 Eastern time, and then there's some others scheduled. Nathan, maybe in the chat you could drop the calendar.
Yeah.
People can
So
follow.
if you join the Discord, I sent it to you personally. You have the calendar you can subscribe to. So we have a program it's called the all-in-one calling program. It's for people that need it's $99 a month. We lose money on it because we're like how much time and effort, but we're trying to partner with people on deals. Exactly what you're bringing to us. This is why we have these calls. Now you're not in the program, but we make these available for free for now. Eventually it will be for just paying. People want to invest in themselves and in their time. So, but right now it's free, and this is exactly what it's for. You bring us a deal, we tell you what to do. You talk to them. We'll even get on the call with the seller if you need us to, and we'll lock it up and we can partner on the deal. So, but yeah, you got some stuff to do. Scott said it. Scott comes in with the heat. He says a little, more straight than I would, but
I love it.
That's why we have him. He comes with the heat.
Great.
All right. So you guys good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. I love it.
Awesome. I look forward to hearing how this goes today. Please follow up with that seller and get that number. And if they don't budge, thank you. Have a good day and go to your next one.
Right.
So
The worst thing that she can do is kill your time. So look, I always ask my sellers up front to get an upfront contract from them. We'll teach you that. But our upfront contract basically guarantees that we can't do a maybe at the end of our conversation. It's a yes, this number works for me. No, that number doesn't work for me. End of story. So have the decision makers on the phone before you make your presentation, before you start making offers, and always get a number from that seller first. The seller can't give you a number. Don't give one first. I mean, it never worked out well for me. So
Perfect.
let them show their cards first, honestly.
Right.
Sounds good. Well, you'll come back. There's 2 calls, so maybe come back later if you've talked to them, or
Yeah.
come back tomorrow. We'll help you out. So anyway, before I get into the deal and kind of helping, showing you guys how to fill out an agreement, let's see if Dalton or let's see, Dalton, do you have any questions before I get into what I was going to show? He might be. I think he watches these while he's at work, so he might not. You guys can all hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Scott, I need your help with this one. So let me explain the situation. I made an offer, all cash offer to a seller about 6 months ago, and I sent him the offer on an email, and I forgot about it. He emails me about a week ago and says, "Hey, I'm selling now. I'm ready to go." So he wants 575. The property is worth 620. And he is, so I told him, I said, look, you're asking for, but hold on. I was going to ask a question. My phone number asked to get some more phone numbers on call. Okay, hold on. So Dalton was going to ask to get some more phone numbers on call tools. That's, yeah, Dalton, in the all-in-one calling program, we're going to get some more phone numbers, but we're only going to renew them like every 2 weeks or every month, because with cold calling, if you get a new number, like it literally can be flagged spam that day. So don't really worry about getting your numbers on cold calling.
Expect your number to be considered spam.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do because you're on a 10-line
blacklisted is different. Spam is different than blacklist. So if you have a spam number, expect as soon as you buy a number for it to be considered spam.
Yeah, like I think my number, my cell phone number that I don't really even use to call people, comes up spam sometimes to people. That's just, I don't know who does this or how it happens, but don't let that bother you, because if someone says, "Hey, your number's flagged spam," be like, "Oh, very interesting. I have no idea why. Let's talk about your house." It's pretty simple to get over. So anyway, don't worry too much about it. It doesn't really, it happens literally every cold calling. Anyone that cold calls. All right. Anyway, so the house is worth 620. The house is worth 620, and he wants 575. So I ran the numbers.
575, you said?
575. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen still?
Let me pop that back up. Yeah, I'm looking at mine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna run the numbers for everybody, so you guys can all see where I'm coming from. Matt Strong. So seller says I want 620. The house has an unfinished basement. You finish the basement, it will be worth about 620. Okay. But when we talked and we ran comps again, the house 605 is more realistic. 620 is like if it's really updated, really nice. Okay. So let's run those numbers. My computer might be slow right now. 605. Okay, so if I bought this house at 605 and at 575, and I put in $25,000 into it with hard money at 12% interest, 2 points, and I listed it for, $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So super cheap. That's not $1,000. That's, let's see, 2%. Let's just leave it at 0 because it's pretty much 0. And then I did a commission to the buyer's agent for 2.5. I would lose $45,000 on this deal, right? Doesn't make sense. So I talked to the seller and I said, look, you're asking for 575. Doesn't make sense because of the hard money costs, and you're just asking too much. And he's like, well, what would make sense? I said, if you finance my flip so I don't have to get hard money, we could start talking. So he said, okay, I'll do that. And so he doesn't want to charge me any interest or any points, right? Because he's going to live it, because he wants to live in it. So this is the deal we structured. He's like, look, I'm a contractor. I just need money to fix this house up. I just need money to fix this house up, and then I'll let you guys list it. Like if it's a novation. So we basically give him some money as a lien on the property. Say, hey, we'll give you 20,000. Use that money to fix up the property, and then we'll list it for 620. And that was his like what he was wanting to do. He's like, hey, I know I can't get what it's really worth. I need to fix it up, so that's what I'll do. So what we had agreed on was 520, and I would give him 20%, $20,000 down that he would use to fix up the house. So if that works, that means I don't put any money into it, right? Because he's using the $20,000 down and to fix it up. And let's see, let me get this bigger. So I'm giving him the 20,000. And then he gets then I would make 64,000 once I list it again for 605. And if it does go for 630, which I was thinking, it's an amazing deal. So my question to you is, well, not question, I'm just throwing this out there. He wants us to close on it with a seller finance deal, or we can do a novation, but giving him money down and he still lives in it can be sketchy, because we've done this before where you buy someone's house on terms and then they
How
stay
long
in
did he
it.
want to stay?
2 months. He wants 1 month to fix it up, and then he wants to sell. As soon as it's fixed up, he wants to list it, and then he'll be out of there.
He wants to live there while you're going to rehab it?
Well, he's rehabbing.
Okay.
He's a contractor. So we're going to give him 20,000 down. He rehabs it. And then as soon as it's rehabbed, he wants to he'll list it. And
what are you going to have at that time to protect you? A memo, right? Because you're not going to have a deed.
Well,
what are you going to have?
We
give him 20 grand and what?
Well, we could. That's why I'm bringing this up. Is we could close on it, give him the money down, and do and get on title. You know, with I think it's a contract for deed.
You can close on it, right? You can close on it and then give him the 20 grand to rehab it.
Yeah, because I think that's better than doing a novation and just giving him 20.
Where does he plan to go once he is out of this property? Does he already have something lined up?
His son, he's moving to North Carolina or South Carolina. I can't remember which one. His son lives there.
Out of the area at that point.
Yeah, his son lives in that area. So I said, what are you going to do if, once you fix it up and we've listed it? He says, so this is another thing he wanted. He said, give me $20,000 to fix it up. And then when it's fixed up, give me $50,000 down so I can buy a piece of land by the time we've listed it, and then I can buy something in the meantime. So for me, I was like, look, this is down, right? Like 2750 is down, so it's coming off the purchase price. So it's not costing me really any money, in my opinion, other than bringing it. And I was gonna pull from my HELOC because I can have the money. But that's why I want to bring it up to you. You structure these a lot. We've done deals like this. This is kind of funky, but trying to navigate
the deal. Yeah, the seller's funky. the seller's what's funky here. He's making this thing funky. All right, so for 20 grand, you can get the deed to the property.
Yeah,
right. That's step one. Right,
yeah,
20 grand gets you the deed.
Seller finance
and
deal.
He's going to use that 20 grand to rehab the property.
To rehab it. That's correct. The concern would be, what if he takes the 20 and does a shizzy, if he does a bad job, and
that's what I'm thinking here. So if you give him the 20 is for the sale of the property. So you'd have to have some type of stipulation that's, I would like to rework the structure on that.
Yeah. I know. I've thought about this, and I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe we just say, hey, look, don't even worry about fixing this thing up. We'll just give you 500,000, not 520, and get the heck out of here.
And you're going to look to relist it at what price?
Well, I mean, we would have to, if he doesn't fix it up, we're gonna have to fix it up. But the
relist price. Once it's rehab, whoever does the rehab, what's your relist price?
630.
630.
Yeah. So if we bought it,
thinking you can get in for 5, and your rehab is what? Your rehab cost is 0.
No rehab. Well, it was 0 if we gave him the down and he did it, but let's just say 25,000.
If you had to hire someone. to do whatever needs to be done. 25 grand.
Yeah, 83. See, that's a good deal.
Yeah. Try to get it just on a cash deal and just be done with them, and encourage him to move quicker with his family that misses him out of state.
Oh, hold on. I forgot. If this is just a cash deal, obviously we'd have to get the hard money. We have to change the hard money, which would be, it cuts down. I mean, you got $29,000 of hard money costs. That's why I'm trying to get him to finance it, because it saves you $29,000. But he still wants to live in it. So I don't know if you've had problems with buying
Saves you
something.
$29,000, and that's at a purchase price of $500K.
Yeah. So
make that number 470 and get that cash price.
He won't do it.
Yeah, you will.
You think he'll go 470?
Of course he will. What do you mean?
I mean,
470 and he doesn't have to do any work?
Let's see. So 470 cash. I mean,
he's not even getting the money. You're giving him 20 grand, and that 20 grand is going to rehab. It's not going cash to his pocket, right?
Yeah. I mean, but I think he likes the way we structured it, because he's going to get the money to do the rehab, and then he'll get $50,000.
Tell him your lender won't go for it. I don't know. Tell him whatever. We can't. Underwriting denied it. Can't do it this way.
So
I just got to give you cash.
What's your concern? Just from what I've told you, without me giving you,
because if you're giving him 20 grand, the 20 grand is based on all right, he's giving you 20 grand and you're getting deed, right? Now that transaction's done.
Yep.
Now you're saying, hey, that 20 grand, that deal that we made, now you have that 20 grand in your pocket. Use that to rehab the house for me, right? And then I'm going to sell it. And then after I sell it, then I'm going to give you 50 grand.
No. That's 50 is down, so he can, as soon as it's listed, he can buy a property, like a piece of land in South Carolina that he's looking to get. He has like $240,000 of equity that he's going to get once it actually sells. Whether we did a novation or we do just sell it because we own it.
I mean, you can buy the property and just give him a loan for, I mean, you could let him lien the property, give him 20 grand or give him that 50 grand as a lien on the property until you sell it.
Well, that's what we were going to do. We were going to do a $20,000 down, and then the 50 would be a lien or a notice or whatever.
Right.
So, I mean, we're protected. We're not just giving him money. But the confusion is, what if he takes the 20 and doesn't fix up the house good, or he just doesn't fix it up at all?
Right.
It's like,
yeah, I don't know what liabilities you have at that point, right?
Yeah. So, and then
protections, I should say. I know the liabilities you have. But.
And then another thing is, like, who knows if he'll even do a good job? How long he'll take? He's a contractor, but I mean, that doesn't mean much, right? So that's kind of the scenario, right? We're trying to work something where he wants a higher price and we're trying to structure it through terms so we can save on the hard money. But have you ever done a deal where you've purchased a property through seller financing, you've let them do a post possession or a lease back?
I personally have not. I know it goes on all the time. I've not had that situation where someone needed to stay afterwards. Personally,
I've had it happen.
It happens all the time. I've lucked out, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, my first deal I did, I bought a home subject to, and then the seller did not want to move out, and I had to evict him, and it was extremely difficult because we went to the courts, and the court was like, "Hey, he's still on title," or he was somewhere on the paperwork where it was kind of getting confusing. So that I'm trying to avoid that situation. If he was,
it's always best. It's always best to have it, vacant, right? Especially from an owner, right? If that owner, wasn't paying that mortgage, probably not going to pay your rent. So
I could go to him and I say, "Listen, we'll close on the property. Instead of giving you $20,000 to fix it up, don't even worry about fixing it up. We'll fix it. We'll buy it, just cash at $500,000." But the problem again is that chips off $29,000 what we could make, which is
I wouldn't offer him $500,000 for that. Offer him 2 doors down. Offer him $450 cash. Be done, right?
I've already offered him $450 cash, and he didn't accept it. He wanted, and then that's why I proposed the terms.
How long's the term?
Well, until the house is listed. until it's sold. So there wasn't going to be any stipulations on me, like not being able to like only have it for a
So
certain.
you would have the deed and you'd be contractually obligated to sell the property, or just when you sell the property to cash him out. Right? If you decide it's rehabbed and I want to turn it into a rental right now, where does he sit with his money? Do you have an obligation to sell this property in 90 days or 120 days or?
You know, I'm not sure. I didn't think of that, like putting an obligation on it.
So usually on a novation, it stays in, it'll stay in the seller's name.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You don't take
And
ownership.
then you would be the one coming in there, right? We get the seller out of there, right? Get the seller out, and we'd rehab it. And once the property's sold, whether it's 60, 365, whatever it is, right? Once it's sold, then that seller would get, that money. So there's a few moving parts right here that, I just want to see where obligations lie.
Well, I
right?
mean, I'm making this. That's why I'm presenting it. So I'm making this agreement. So do you think it's better to do an ovation on this one since and not transfer ownership at all? Because the reason why I didn't want to do an ovation is because if I make $80,000 on this deal, when he thinks, I'm going to make 20
Well,
or
on the
30.
novation, there's some fees that you're going to give up if he's doing the work, right? Because on the novation, remember, you're gonna back this out from expenses, right? So if there's 50 grand in materials, right?
So
and you're going to mark up materials 30%.
Let's run the numbers that are real. So
You're going to GC the project.
If we do an ovation and I say, hey, once this sells on the market, you'll get 520. Anything above 520, I get to keep. So if it sells for 630 and he puts in, we give him $20,000 for the rehab, and that comes out of his purchase, like what he gets. So we give him 20 and
get a deed.
Yeah, and get a deed. So there's no hard money cost, right? Because with the novation, you're not purchasing it.
No
That's
purchase,
he's gonna see that we're gonna make $88,000 on this. So we were trying to avoid that by just closing on it with a subject to. But again, the issue is he wants to stay in it while we own it. While we close on it subject to.
What are the existing terms
of his mortgage?
Yeah,
$1,200 a month. But
including taxes, including insurance.
Right. Yeah, but he's going to cover that. Like, we don't even have to pay the mortgage because he's going to be living in it. That would be the agreement. It would be, hey, look, we'll close on it. Here's 20 down, rehab the house, and we're going to sell in 60 days. That's our goal. And you
got to have this work done in 30 days from now because we need to have this relisted. We already have the broker. We're ready to put this on the market. I'm just not crazy, I guess, about the idea of I guess, if you're doing the novation here, basically you're giving the seller cash to do your rehab.
Yeah, you'd rather on a novation you would do the rehab to make sure it got done. So
you would do it, and you would have fees associated with that rehab, just like any other contractor would.
Right.
Because remember, you're going to back out expenses. So, in order to get paid on this deal here, you can dip into those expenses, right? You're a manager, you structured this, you're the GC, whatever it may be, right? Materials came out to 50 grand plus your markup of 10%, right? So now they're 55 grand. Well, that 5 grand is coming to you here before you even chop this up. So
there's two different.
Again, you're not doing any of that with him doing the rehab at
20
grand. And we don't know how it's going to be.
That's your concern. It's like, okay, give him 20.
100%. Okay. That's our concern. Yeah, definitely.
Because if you got two different scenarios, you have the subject to, and you have the novation. Subject to, you purchase the property and you close on it. And then you have novation, which you do not, but you've just put a lien on the property for how much, notice of interest. Right. So, maybe where I make this a little safer is I say, hey man, I know you can do the rehab, but we'd feel safer doing it.
We don't like him doing the rehab. We also don't like him doing the lease back. So now you have the lease back, right? This guy's living there. We're hoping he pays $1,200. Right? We hope he pays $1,200 for the next 60 days while he's doing this work on his own.
Okay.
Right? So he's got to make the mortgage payment. So of that $20,000, subtract $2,400 because That's probably where your mortgage payment's coming from.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
And then he's going to have that leftover money to do the rehab. Have you done a thorough walkthrough of this property? Do you have an inspection done?
yeah, my
A
team
real
is
inspection?
my team. No, we don't do that, but it's a deal.
Well, on something like this, you might want to, spend the $500 on a thorough inspection. That way, that becomes your punch list that he needs to do. So you're telling me you're going to do everything on this punch list here for $18,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we know that 2,400 is going to the mortgage. For $18,000, you're going to do this whole list: the window seals, the crack in the porch, the leak in the roof, the peel. You know what an inspection report looks like, bro.
Yeah, I mean, another thing too is like, what is his incentive to do any good work if he's already, if
Nothing.
yeah,
His
he's-
incentives to cut corners and put as much of that 20 grand in his pocket.
yeah,
Because you guys are going to get impatient and say, look, we got to sell this property. We got to sell this property. Lipstick on a pig. We got to sell this property. We have
Yeah.
no idea what this guy's capable of doing. Yeah, he's a contractor, sure, but all sellers are liars.
Mhm.
I'm a contractor. I'm an electrician on the weekends. I'm also a plumber. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Okay, so I have to
also a
navigate
landscaper.
because
You
he
know, like,
yeah, because I mean, I think the main reason he wanted some money up front is the rehab. He was trying to help me out, right? I think he saw it as like a win-win. Like, hey, I'll rehab it for you, right?
no, happy to give you money up front, but get out.
I got you.
Subject to it,
I'm
the
gonna
guy,
mute
and get him
your-
out of there.
Yes.
Hey, someone's not muting on there. You guys
You
are
was
muted, sitting in the lobby.
I got him.
Thank you.
I muted him. You can mute
All good.
people. So, okay, so yeah, this one is it's gonna work, right? We just have to navigate it.
Yeah, get the seller out of there.
So he wants to get out at the end of May. So
Give him his 50 grand for the new property, subject to. You're buying the house that's 10% down. You get it for 500 grand, so you're giving him 10% to get into it.
But the subject to doesn't make sense. It doesn't help him because if he's going to move out, he wants his equity. He wanted the money up front.
Oh,
He
he
wanted
wants his equity. Period.
he wants his equity at the end. Yeah, if he didn't want
This is
his
only
equity,
a short-term sub to. Then he's not looking at you. You're not looking to take over this mortgage for the remainder of the
no,
terms.
this was just so we could do the rehab.
Well,
we could do the rehab without getting hard money.
you do a sub to, you're taking over the obligation to pay, even though you're not on the mortgage. But really, he's going to still be paying the mortgage
Because he
you're
lives
now
there.
obligated to pay.
Yeah, because we could agree on that. We could write that and just say, hey, I mean, it's what $1,200. That saves us so much money on hard money. 2 points on 520. I mean, right there, that's $8,840 just for the points.
Let me ask you, what price would you buy this property on cash that it would be attractive for you
Well,
using your hard money?
let's look at the
Where
numbers.
would you like to see it? Yeah.
So if we had to do the rehab ourselves,
Yeah. No, standard deal. This guy wants to go and sell. He wants all his equity out, right?
so 520, we make 27,000. Is that a deal? Yeah, I mean, I'd do that still, but I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can
got
out
you.
of this. Yeah.
And if you lower the cost to purchase the property, lower it to 500, so you're just going to add 20 grand to it, right? Lower it to 500,
Yeah, that's still a deal, right?
right?
Even at
And you lower
605.
it to 470.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll go for that, but it's going to be even sweeter. So even at 605, if we do it like a wholesale, if we don't even make it that nice,
You have
24.
25 grand on it.
That's still a deal, right?
That's the deal in itself right there. So just, I don't know, maybe don't get too caught up in all these fancy things going on here, because remember, you still have a deal at the end of the day, right?
What? Okay, last thing, because it's I hope
Don't
this
force
was,
it. Don't try to force a
I
peg
hope this
into
was
a
help.
square hole, you know?
That's right. That's what I do, brother. That's all I do. So one last thing before we end the call. Hopefully this was helpful to see how we like analyze these deals and talk about it. But he still wants some money up front to buy land, like buy some land. I mean, that forget the 20K, forget him rehabbing. We'll buy it at 500,000, and he still wants some money up front to buy land before the close, because he wants to be able to buy something before it closes so he can have it all prepared. So that's 50K. He's saying, I just need 50K. If you give someone 50K, you're not really protected unless we purchased it on a subject to where we actually are on title, we own it, and then we can have them on a lease back and evict them if we need to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, for this deal to get done, I think he wants the 50K. At least. I think he'll go for the 500,000. Say, hey man, don't even worry about the rehab. We'll buy for 500. But in for the 50,
What's his equity in it? You said two what?
he owes 240, so he's got quite a bit of
He
equity.
owes 240.
Yeah.
260 in there.
I know you're probably hesitant, and most people are hesitant about giving someone money before they close. Like before you, well, I mean, we would technically close.
I'm
but
curious here. Well, let's talk about the over sub 2. Then we only owe the guy 210 grand of equity left over, right?
Right.
Okay. So if he needs 50 grand to buy that new property, well, we just took care of one problem, right? And we have $210,000 of equity. We got to get this guy, right?
Right.
And we'll just we maintained the mortgage right at $1,200, right? So of his 210 equity, what does that look like for him, right? Is he trying to buy that land and then build a house?
Yeah.
Is he looking to drop off a double wide there? And what I'm thinking is, what if we make some balloon payments to him, right?
Okay.
Maybe a 5-year balloon payment, maybe just a 7.5, maybe 2 balloon payments, one maybe in 5 years and one maybe in 10 years, or maybe the whole thing in 7.5. And, you can do an interest only or something with the guy. I don't know, right?
Okay.
But maybe play with it there, because really we're talking about the buying here. Okay, on a cash deal here, we're going to come up with 500 grand, but we don't need to do it a cash deal because he only has 260 in it anyway. That's all he's going to be entitled to at the end of the day.
So if he wants the 260 up front, if he's like, look, I just want to get out, that's an option. But I could ask him, be like, hey, once you buy that land for 50, how much money do you need?
Right. You really don't need 50 grand. It sounds like you need more than that for the whole project. You just want 50 grand to buy the land, right? Are you putting a double wide in there, or are you building your retirement home, right? What does that look like, right? Mm-hmm. The guy might tell you, no, I already have a camper. I'm going to park it right there.
Right.
Right. Well, now let's structure this, right? Because I can make that remaining $210,000 balance. I can make that $250,000 balance with interest and payments to you. Now you make it a hybrid deal. You have the payment going to the bank for $1,200, and you got a second payment going to the seller for whatever it may be monthly.
And then balloon them out, 5, 10,
or
2 years or whatever.
Look, if you're doing an interest only, yeah, then you can balloon the guy out. But if you're going to do a principal and interest payment with the guy, amortize it over. You can do it over 20 years. I mean, you can do it over 30. See what he needs. Do you want to make the most on this property? Let me show you how to make the most on this property.
Hypothetically,
right? And still give you your 50 grand now.
Hypothetically, if he wanted, 100,000, he's like, look, give me 50 up front to buy land. I need 100 at closing once this thing sells. Well,
what makes you want to? Why do you have to sell it then? Do you need to sell it? Right? Is this a cash flow property in your mind? Would you like to keep this property?
No, he doesn't want to keep it. He needs the money.
No, you.
Oh,
would
me?
you like to keep the property? Yeah. Is this one that you'd like to keep, or is this a flipper for you? Like what? Again, I asked John, and I asked him what would either dispo for, right? Is this one you like to keep?
We're not trying to. We're not trying to keep it. It doesn't really cash.
Not trying to keep this one.
It doesn't really cash flow here in Utah. Utah
doesn't really cash flow.
Yeah, like I mean, we could rent it out for $2,000, and the house is worth,
And there's a $1,200 note on it, and you're getting,
No,
and you're getting 2,000. You got 800.
Actually, you're right. You're right. I didn't
minus
think of that
minus expenses. Even if you took out expense, a $300 war chest, you still have, call it $500.
Right, but you'd still have the money that you put into it, like the 50K or whatever you've given them, like 50 to 100,000, whatever.
Well, I don't know if they give him that much, 100,000. I mean, maybe in 5 years or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think he needs the money now. He does need the money now to buy the land, and he's going to build on it. So
he needs more than 50 grand. He just wants 50 to secure the land, right? So he's going to need more to do the build, right? So let's try to find out what that full number is, and then really what's his plan. Like, if you couldn't get this money today, could you just live with your son? Yeah. Right? What's more important, buying this property now or having more money in the future? Okay. Instead of me owing you $210,000, I can give you a payback of $250. Give me the right terms. And then try to work that with the seller.
So Dalton says, I'm just curious here. Could you give him 50,000 down just to move? So the issue with giving him 50 is that he won't take 50 to move. He's got $260,000 in equity. He won't take just 50.
He wants to get that equity out, Dalton, sooner than then later.
So
So
all
we're
I'm
trying to
trying to
structure how we
do,
can give him some buckets.
all I'm trying to do, guy, everyone, is I'm trying to use subject to and his financing, him financing me or his existing financing to save $29,000 in hard money costs that I'm going to have to use to flip this house. And if I take over him, it's not going to cost me anything. So other than what we have to put down. But the issue with this is he wants to stay in the property. And if you buy something subject to, from my experience, and they stay in it, you potentially could have issues. You got to do a lease back if they don't want to move. You got evictions. So that's the issue. And among other things. But anyway, hey guys, I hope this call was helpful. I was going to write out the agreement, but I think I need to talk to the seller more about not rehabbing the house, because I think that's a bad idea. Just paying, having him do it. And there's just a couple other things I need to square out, because he's already agreed to the terms of 20 down, 50 once we list it at the purchase price of 520, which is a deal. Again, it's 520. But if he's not honest and doesn't go through with what he says he is, then you're in trouble. But the numbers right there, 630. We don't have a rehab cost because he's taking the 20 that we're giving him up front. And there's no money costs since right there. So that's an $88,000 deal if everything went according to plan at the current plan. But there's issues that could happen. So all right, guys.
Well, listen, good luck today, everyone. We went a little bit longer than usual, but it was for a good cause. So good luck, everybody. Hope to see everyone tomorrow.
Yeah, hop on the next call with Sean at 11 if you guys still need help. That's underwriter hour. And other than that, Scott does calls like this every morning. And yeah, we're here to help you guys out. Let's help you get a deal.
Take care, guys. Have a good day.
Does that go ahead?
What's the difference between the 11 o'clock call and this call?
It's just Sean runs it. It's just two opportunities for you in the morning to run your deals by, and then have Sean help you at the last day. We pretty much just answer questions and structure deals.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
yeah, this is awesome. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. This is. I mean, I what you guys need help with, I even need help with. Like, I'm not perfect. I mean, I might be doing a little higher level stuff, trying to make more money, but that's what's out there, right? You can structure and do things to help you out, right? All right, guys. Catch you later.